All right, now that we got a plan here for laser usage, so the idea on this is the power comes along this upper rail here. Okay, power ground coming along the upper rail. All this data comes down this lower rail. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make some decisions. Okay, feel free to make the same decisions I do. Okay, so maybe undo this tape. There we go. So I rip it apart. Perfect. Okay. So the purple and gray, like those ones are the end stops. There's not much else I'm going to do with those other than sense whether it's homed or not. Okay, but I have 8 other cables to play with. I'm going to have this UV diode up there, which needs 12 volts, uh, ground, and signal, like data from the Arduino to turn on and off the laser. So the 12 volts, I'm going to do red. The ground, I'm going to do black. And the data, I'm going to do blue for this. Okay. So I'm going to try to isolate these from the bundle here. Okay. Now the red for the power, as I explained in the other video, is going to go up here. Is going to go up towards that power switch. So this one, I'm just going to throw off to the side, right? The black, same thing. That's going to go up to the power area. It's not going to go to the power switch, but it's going to go to the power supply. So throwing that up there. Now we just have this blue one. Okay, so the blue one, I'm going to try to get it out there. There we go. Okay, this blue one is going to plug into Z plus on our driver board. The white side, if you look at the shield, you'll see Z plus, Z minus. The blue one is going to plug into Z plus on the white side of that. So that's where it's going to live. Okay, I'll explain that in another video if you're interested. I'll go through all the Gerbil stuff, and we're using Z plus, which is an NSOP pin, but it's an NSOP pin for an older version of Gerbil. We have the latest version of Gerbil on here, and they swapped the pins. So that is now our spindle output, or our laser output, which we're going to be needing. Okay, anyways, so this blue is going to go to Z plus on the driver board. Next thing we're going to look at is this guy. So we need to get 4 more cables that come directly to this, okay? Okay, so from this board here itself, it needs 12 volts. It needs signal from the Arduino. And then it sends out a fan plus and fan minus, which is really just 12 volts plus and minus. It's a 12 volt fan. But then it has LD, which is laser diode, minus and plus. So those we're going to have to make some decisions on too. So for fan, I'm going to decide right now, because computers use yellow for 12 volts. Or sorry, yeah, we'll do that for the fan, okay? We'll do that, and then we'll do brown for ground. So yellow for 12 volts, brown for ground on the fan side, right? Okay, so now that's over here. And then for the diode, we'll go with green for the negative and orange for positive. Okay, there we go. Whoa, caught everything in there. Whoops. Spaghetti. Okay, cool. So those will be the diode ground and power. Okay. So we got that. And then this white one will just be a spare here in case any of the cables break. We'll have the white one rolled up over here somewhere. And the black and red, they still go up towards the power area. And then we have these guys, our end stops, our gray and purple. These guys all need to come over here. So the reason we're doing this is we want to zip tie these into bundles, right? So I've got all this excess Y-axis stepper motor cable here, right? Gonna curl that up as best I can. Okay, tuck that in. There we go. That's somewhat tucked. And then I'm gonna lay these cables out along with the X-axis NEMAs, and then I'm gonna zip tie. But I'm gonna zip tie to the bottom one. Okay, all the power is gonna go to the top one. Okay, got that zip tied. Okay. And then, let's see. So what did I decide here? I guess I should mount this thing up next. So I'm going to mount this, sure, right here. That's fine. Okay. So I got to put some drop-ins in there. Okay. So pull out your bucket of drop-ins and grab some M3s. And this is pretty thick metal. And we're going to use washers. So I'm going to say M3 by 8. Which the camera's in the way of my organizer. That's all right. I'll just bump into it a few times. Okay. Now that we have this, again, I'm going to distort the threads just a little bit to make sure these things turn. So about 2 threads down, and then 2 threads down, a little bit of a squeeze, a little bit of a bend. Okay. Now that we got that, we'll start putting it together here. So I'm going to put the screw here, the washer, and the insert nut, the drop-in nut, and then I'm going to slide it into this, bring it down, and screw it in. Okay, it's lifting the other side, so I'm not going to screw it in tight just yet. I don't want that other side to be difficult. So, screw, washer, drop in. Okay, until it hits that point. Okay, now I'm going to keep my washer from falling by holding it up and then slide it in here, push down, and start screwing. All right, now it's going to transfer heat from this aluminum piece back here into the aluminum frame and help dissipate heat from this driver. Okay. Now that I got that decided, I'm a big fan of soldering. You might not be. So chances are your laser came with some JST connectors. Like, oh yeah, even on the laser itself right here. There's some JSTs, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start pulling this dorky little spiral cable management off. Okay. And that looks like plenty. That's plenty of wire here. I'm going to chop that. Okay. Chopped it off. And see, I know the big ones for the laser diode. Plug it in. The small ones for the fan. All right, small ones for the fan. I want to plug that one in. And now I know I need to connect those. Let's see, what do? We did green, orange, yellow, brown. Okay. So I need to connect all these together here, right? So I'll eventually solder these together. Actually, I'm going to solder it straight to the board, but if you want, you can crimp these together, like just strip them, crimp them. I'm going to solder mine directly to the board because that's what I prefer. So I'm going to cut these wires down with a little bit of extra. Here we go. Okay. So those are that driver board. Okay. Now I've got all this wire to use later. And what else do we got here? We got this white one, which is a spare. We're going to try to leave it kind of long because we don't know where it's going to need to go. I'm just going to let it dangle down here. And then we have this end stop right here. Okay. This end stop will eventually be plugged into or soldered to the X right here on the driver board. Just happen to have a driver board hanging out. So if you look on the right side, try to stop moving it so much. There we go. Look on the right side. It says Z plus and Z minus next to the white ones. And then right below it, it says Y plus, Y minus. Those are end stops for the Y. And then all the way down there are your X plus, X minus. Okay, so that purple one, your signal goes into the white pin. Okay, for X, let's see, I guess that'd be X plus. And then the gray one goes into the black side of X plus. Okay, so the Y end stop, once we get to that, is going to go to Y plus. So it's going to go, the purple will go to Y plus, the white side, and the gray will go to the Y plus, the black side. So that's what we're going to be doing eventually here. Okay, sorry that was shaky. It's an awkward angle for me to be holding it. So I'm just going to give enough that it can sort of curl down and plug in. Then I'm going to chop this up. Okay. And this is plenty to wire up the other end stop. So I'm definitely saving this bundle of cable. Okay. What else we got? We got this dangling white. And then we got power stuff, which we'll get to in a little bit here. So actually, yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's see, where are we right now? We're at, the cables are chopped. We made decisions on where to plug things in. I think we're good to go on this video. So thanks for watching. Next video, we're going to be doing some soldering. So pull out your soldering iron and get that ready. Or you can crimp stuff, but we're going to be plugging things in for reals. Thanks.